Welcome to StopFake, the place where we debunk disinformation about Ukraine and set the record straight. I'm Marko Suprun with this week's edition of Dissected Russian Disinformation. Among the stories we examine this week, Ukraine will be introducing food rationing. A tuberculosis epidemic in Ukraine threatens the European Union, and Ukraine has a new secret weapon, combat boars. Let's get to the details. At the end of August, Russia's federal news agency, RIA published an article claiming that Ukraine was poised to introduce food ration cards. Citing Ukraine's State Statistics Service, an organization that tracks consumer prices, economic changes, and inflation, the agency claims that the price of basic food products increased by an average of 15 to 20%, while meat and fish have doubled in price. However, according to the Ukrainian State Statistics Service, milk, cheese, eggs, and fish have gone down in price in recent months, while meat prices have experienced a minimal increase. The RIA story is filled with value judgments without any factual evidence to support its claims. Quote, "Tens of thousands of people living in the former breadbasket of the USSR are on the brink of starvation." The story cites Marina Fedirko, a Social Security employee from an unnamed small city in the northern Chernihiv Oblast, who purportedly showed the federal news agency a list of impoverished local residents who must now rely on welfare. Another person quoted in the article is identified as an activist called Vladislav Terenchuk from something called Ukraine's Consumer Association, who calls the food situation in Ukraine catastrophic. Now, all Ukrainian federal and local government employees must file declarations. Their names and places of employment are available on the internet. There is a Marina Fedirko in that system, but she is from Cherkasy Oblast and not from Chernihiv and works in the State Cadastre Service, which registers property. There is no such organization as Ukraine's Consumer Association, and we were not able to find anyone named Vladislav Terenchuk. The entire story is made up of fake people saying fake things. Last year, StopFake debunked a similar fake story disseminated by the Russian Defense Ministry television channel Zvezda, claiming hungry Ukrainians were snatching bread out of the beaks of pigeons in city centers. This week, several Russian sites, RT, Vesti, Ukraina.ru, published articles claiming that the European Union is seeing renewed outbreaks of tuberculosis because of the visa-free regime with Ukraine. Citing Russia's state epidemiology oversight body, they claim the TB situation in Ukraine has reached catastrophic proportions and is worsening every day. Ukraine's Ministry of Health advisor Volodymyr Kurpita told StopFake that tuberculosis is indeed a problem for the country, but the Russian stories are resorting to fear-mongering and ignoring Ukraine's successes in countering the disease. Ukraine is in fact seeing positive trends in its battle with tuberculosis. For every 100,000 people, there are 67.6 cases of tuberculosis. This is a fact, says Kurpita. But this figure is considerably lower than what Ukraine saw in 2012, where there were 80.5 cases of TB for every 100,000 people. According to the World Health Organization's annual tuberculosis report, 4.3% of people sick with tuberculosis in Ukraine have a multi-drug resistant strain of the disease. Russia's rate is much higher, coming in at 13%. There were an estimated 480,000 new cases worldwide of multi-drug resistant TB in 2015, according to the WHO. India, China, and the Russian Federation accounted for 45% of the combined total number of cases. RT's article also claims that TB vaccinations are at an all-time low in Ukraine. If in 2007, 96% of newborns were vaccinated with the TB vaccine, in 2016, only 20% received it, according to RT. However, the level of TB vaccinations is much higher in Ukraine, says Kurpita. In 2015, 40% of children were vaccinated. In 2016, vaccinations rose to 72%. In 2016 and 2017, the Ukrainian government designated $20 million to combat tuberculosis in the country. This week, Russia's news site RIA Novosti reported that the Ukrainian armed forces have a new secret weapon. They claim that combat boars are being used instead of dogs for intelligence gathering. RIA Novosti is referring to a story on Ukraine's military television station. Now, the boars are in fact being taken care of by Ukrainian soldiers. Their mother was killed during a round of contact, and the soldiers decided to take the 2 surviving young boars under their care. The Ukrainian soldiers have said that they have enough rations to share with them, and they named the boars Timon and Pumbaa, referring to characters from The Lion King. Social media erupted with various pictures of combat boars ready for battle to one cartoon character of a piglet that dreams about growing up to be a combat boar. That's it for this week. There is more dissected disinformation and useful tools for spotting fakes on the StopFake website. Be vigilant, look out for disinformation, and if you spot any fakes about Ukraine, send them to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Marko Suprun, and this is StopFake. Thanks for watching.